3, 2, let's all stare at the cameras. What's up, everybody? Welcome to once again another North American Roundtable. Today, we're going to be covering everything you need to know about the up-and-coming NACT Spring season. I think we're all super excited for it. It's 2024. We got a new year. We got a slightly new format. We got some new things coming all around. But before we get too far, let's introduce everybody today. My name's Trex. I'll be the lead host. To my left or right is Private Dancer. Below me, Steph Weezy. And over there is that guy I'm sure a lot of you guys know, GtheAiko. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Happy that the year has started and we're coming right into a fresh NACT again.
Weezy?
Yeah, I'm a follow right behind that. I'm excited too. It's been a while since we've all been together, man. You know, it was like last NACT for the fall season. So
Missed you guys.
glad to be back around a familiar crowd. And yeah, let's get this started.
Oh, yeah, G.
I'm telling you, we've been all on vacation. Everybody kind of just doing their own thing, and now we're all kind of getting back into the fill of things. And what's the best place to be is the NACT.
Ooh, is that the new hashtag right there? Best place to be, NACT.
Trademark it.
Best place to be, the NACT. You heard it first.
So just let everybody know, we're going to go over a little bit of information thing. You can kind of see the schedule over here on the side. And then after that, for those that stay, after we kind of cover everything, we will be doing some Q&A, answering questions from the chat. So make sure you guys stick around, and we'll kind of get into less of the informative side and more of just kind of talking of what's coming, some of our personal opinions about things. I'm super excited for it. As these guys said, none of us have really seen each other for a little while. It's been a lot going on. I think the last month, everyone's been kind of stepping back a little bit. You know, Worlds is over. No season. It's off season all around the world, but now in literally weeks we'll be jumping back into NACT. Super excited for it. Just a reminder to everybody, if you're looking to register for NACT, there is a link in the description. There's also the rule book in the description. You guys only have a few more days to register for the first round of NACT. But before we jump too far into that, we've come a very long way. This is going to be the fourth in-person grand finals that NACT has ever had. Of course, NACT has been around for a long time before that, but I think it really kind of hit its stride about 4 NACTs ago. That was NACT 2022 fall season for M4 qualifiers, The Simpsons versus BTK. The first time all of us got to meet in person, really. The first time a lot of the community got together. I think that in itself was just like a ground-moving moment for so many of us. And since then, we've had another NACT finals in Vegas after that. And then last fall season, we all went to Las Vegas, 4 teams. We got to see all of playoffs live. It's been a monumental journey overall. And I kind of wanted to ask you guys, all of you have been casters for all of this. All of you guys have been around. G hasn't cast for everything, but you've been there behind the scenes with us. You've been at these events with us. You've been a part of our community this whole time as well. I think all of us have put in so much work for this. What are some of your guys' favorite moments over the past 2 years? If there had to be like one that you really hold on to, let me know. And we're going to start with Private.
A memory. You know, you mentioned it, and I don't know if it's my favorite memory, but it's one of the ones that stick out to me for the first NACT in Las Vegas. I remember it was new to everybody. Nobody knew what was going on, what was really expected. Even the players, bless their hearts, because many of them are very, very young, so they haven't really lived out on their own for a while. And I remember that Shark was due to come out early, and I want to say the bulk of BTK and the Simpsons players had this plan that they'll all come out early and they're all gonna stay in Shark's room in the motel. And it came to the point where I think me and you were talking about it, Trax.
We had like promised and someone else sleeping on our floor. Because they didn't have anywhere to go yet, because the Moonton rooms weren't ready yet.
Tell some of them they can stay in my room. Tell some of them they can stay in your room, so they're not hoboing it all out in the Shark's room. But that was just kind of the funny. I think I met, that's how I met Cole World and Arville, who were from The Simpsons at the time. Really great guys. Just all of them great guys. But it just, I want to say it's my initial, like, prime memory from the start of NACT.
For sure. Weezy?
Let's see. Most memorable moment, I would definitely say, is the first one, the fall season. I mean, it was our first offline event, so it was like the first for everything, really, in the beginning of how this all kind of started, and it's grown amazingly from there. But just to be able to meet everybody in person was the craziest thing, right? We get to see each other on live stream. We get to meet the audience, through the chat, but to actually go in person and meet these people over the internet and actually get to vibe out on some Mobile Legends is a really unique experience and something that I definitely enjoyed. So I would say that is that thing that I'll take away from it was the very first experience. My favorite experience though was the spring season when it was BTK going up against Outplay.
Outplay.
Yeah, Outplay. Yep, in that best of 7 in Las Vegas, and dude, that was one of the best finals that I think we've ever had in MLBB history.
Definitely hype. I think that's a hard one to top just overall. If we just talk about like NACT moments, right? G.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody's kind of leading with the first NACT, and it's kind of following in the same footsteps, And the very first NACT, I flew myself out, and then I had to become the hobo, and the craziest thing ever is I was in like I hit up Trex, and I was like, "Yo, bro, like, is it cool if I crash?" And like, so I was crashing with Trex.
You
the whole
crashed in my
time.
room that whole time, huh? Dude?
The whole time. The whole time I was like, man, and that was that was one time when they only invited out like 2 casters and stuff like that. But it was just the foundation of the NACT. It was fun. Very first time to be able to meet everybody. Everybody was kind of awkward. Everybody was kind of shy. The players especially. But it definitely just like set to me just because everybody that I grew up, that I blew up on Facebook with, Steph Weezy, A1C Tank, Trex, and then of course the new people that came onto the scene, Private Dancer, finally getting to see him. It was surreal, like I just like we're always talking behind a camera and stuff, so like being able to actually meet people, seeing how tall Tank was, like the dude was a tower.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm just like over here like this, it was too surreal, it was one of those things that as a content creator, as a caster, I never thought I would be here, and then finally getting to meet him it was perfect.
Yeah, I think for me as well, the first one will always kind of hold a place in my heart. Just hearing you guys talk about it like sparks even more. Makes me all warm inside. And like just memories like privacy. I completely forgot about that. We had like the Simpsons crashing on the floor, like because everybody showed up and not everybody had rooms for the first 2 days. And I remember the first one and the second one. Me and Private would always get there like 3 days early. Which the more events we went to, the less time we would do that. We're like, all right, we're just showing up like the day before. Because we would be there like 3 days before doing nothing. Like
I want to clarify too that it wasn't because rooms weren't prepared for them. Because like the Moonsoon and everything, they prepare the rooms for them, but the guys, they wanted to come early, but they had no plan when they got there early.
Like they just showed up to Vegas. It's gonna be like 2 days till Moonton has a room for them, and it's like, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll be good.
Trying to get all that party out before the tournament starts.
I think, and I remember that finals. I remember me and Private casting, and they hadn't. I think one of my favorite like memories that I always go back to is they hadn't mic'd the crowd because nobody thought there was gonna be that many people there. I think the expected turnout was like 20, 30 people, something like that. And once the game started, there was probably close to 100, which I know that's nothing crazy, but it was a small room. Like we were like that venue's not super big, right? And 100 people, like the seats were full. They had to add some extra seats, and nobody had mic'd the crowd. And me and Private are in this soundproof room to the side. It's supposed to be soundproof, and like first big plays happen, and you can hear the crowd get loud. And I remember going, man, you can hear the crowd. And everyone was telling me that then immediately the production team's like, oh, man, we should probably mic the crowd. And they run out because no one expected there to be a crowd. So they're like putting stuff up by the crowds. And I think that's something that always kind of strikes me because like that moment just shows like something happened. Like it was more than just what everybody thought it was going to be. And it was definitely amazing. Definitely excited because I feel like every season, more people have showed up, more people have done things. It's growing more and more here in NA. We have so many things coming. There's much more I could talk about, but we do have to jump into NACT. So for those that don't know, The format has changed, as it does, as we like to keep things spicy, as we like to keep things interesting. We want more teams to be able to join. We want more teams to have more opportunity. In the past, qualifiers have always been a double elimination, best of one game, 64 teams, that's it. Top 8 move into season. This time, there's going to be 2 rounds of qualifiers. So this first registration is already happening. It ends February 14th, and we will take the top 64 teams based off of rank, and they will play against each other until, in a double elimination, still best of one, until the top 8 teams. Now, after that, here's the kicker. After that, another registration will start, which will be dated for February 17th to February 20th. And even if you lost in the first set of qualifiers in that first 64 teams, you can reapply, get yourself back into the next stage of 64 teams, because that's where we're going to take another 8 teams. And then we'll have 2 sets of 8 teams from each 64 qualifiers. And we will take those 16 teams and have something called our Stage 3 of qualifiers, where those 16 teams will do a best of one round robin. Not a bracket, but a best of one round robin. And the top 8 scoring teams will move on into the season. So qualifiers, I know we were all just sitting in a briefing, learning about all this. A lot of us were like, okay, we're all wondering about things. I think the overall goal of it is to make it so, let's say the bracket's rough. Let's say you have this or that. Sometimes qualifiers best of ones can be a little bit, challenging for everybody. This does give a bit more ample opportunity to give a few more teams a shot. And I think a little bit more practice overall, and kind of prepare yourself, because if you're one of those 16 teams now, when you get to the best of one round robin, you have some more opportunity to maybe beat out some of the other teams and score overall. I want to ask everyone else's opinion on it. And we're going to start down low this time. GtheAiko.
Yeah, so Sass and Dave hit me up with the new format and through some of our manager meetings and everything, and I seen it, and I was, every year there's always been something different, something that gets pulled out of the hat when it comes to the NACT. And I think it's a good idea, right? Because if you're going into double qualifiers, it allows, like Trex was saying, teams to just scale at a higher environment, and also just have more opportunities to learn how to play in the tournament, learn how tournament formats are. Because in reality, last season I seen so many teams make it to almost to the top 8, right? And they were great teams, but they had to do what, 8 best of ones in one night, so they were tired, right? So I feel like a double qualifier kind of gives teams a chance to figure out their stamina, to figure out the groove of things, and gives them a second chance to actually make it into the NACT and learn, and actually maybe manifest more pro teams. So overall, I like it. It's great for casting, because you guys are going to be seeing quite a bit. The top 16 is going to be intense, right? They're probably going to have some influencers or something, myself, us, stream some of the qualifiers that are going on. But once it gets to the top 16, that these are the teams that have fought it out, and it's 16 of them. It's not just 8 this time, right? You're getting a solid live stream with 16 teams, which I think is going to be phenomenal for the NACT. I think it's going to build hype around some of the teams that you might not know. And I think they're actually, who knows, we might see a real big dark horse in NA.
Fair.
Yeah, jumping on kind of what he said, I'm excited about it as well. It is different than what we've seen in the fall season. We were kind of talking about it before we started the stream, how it was a point system, and it was like if you had X amount of points, you went against this team, and you could end up playing the same exact team every single phase of the last NACT in the fall of 2023. But this time around, it's a little bit more simplified, right? And sometimes going simple is the best way. And I think it's just going to make the whole process easier. So I am looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to, I'm constantly just looking at the teams that are registering for the NACT fall. We're up to 107 teams registered right now, guys. So if you haven't registered yet, you need to do it. But hey, guess what? If you don't do it in time, we got a second one. So you're still good. But nonetheless, every NACT has just been getting better and better, right? I mean, I think the very first one in 2022, the fall one, it was more of a one-sided thing. Like we all knew, like when we all went to Vegas, we all knew BTK was just gonna blow out their opponent, and they did. Then the next NACT came around, and I felt like competition started rising because everybody saw, oh, we actually have an offline event. Oh, this is actually going somewhere for our region. So hey, let's put a little bit more work in ourselves. And then there you had it. We had the spring season for 2023, and then moved, and that was the best, in my opinion. That was the best one so far. Just based off of how the matches played out, right? I mean, not too often do you have a grand finals that goes all the way to a game 7. It's just not really a thing. Even that's not even just in NA. That's like in Mobile Legends in general. Most grand finals do not go to a game 7. But to be able to see that, and for that to be our region on top of that, you got to be proud of it, man. And then on top of that, they came with a couple of sponsorships that hit or miss came through, which showed even more growth, not only for Mobile Legends in general, but for the players, right? So that's something that I was looking forward to as well. Fall came around, we switched it up. We didn't go to Vegas. We actually went to Long Beach, California, a change in scenery too. So that also shows you that Moonton's willing to go the extra mile and take us to additional locations. Hoping we go somewhere different this time around. I'm not going to really say where we're going yet, but nonetheless, I know I'm excited for wherever it's going to be. And this time around, like I said, 107 teams are registered, and the teams are more spread out this time around. There's a lot of things going on internationally with big prize pools and a lot of these tournaments, such as MSC on the way, and also like Game of Futures, like $1 million prize pool, and then a $3 million one for MSC, and that is sparking a lot of interest for these players to want to play. I mean, if you win the NACT spring season, you literally get a ticket to MSC for a chance at a prize pool of $3 million. I mean, that's a no-brainer to me. That's the biggest achievement that you could possibly shoot for. And it starts here, right? So make sure you guys register. Make sure you get ready to compete, because these teams are not playing around, man. I've been peeking through them piece by piece, and there's definitely some heavy hitters.
Right now, for me, when I'm looking at this, especially with the format, for me, this is the no more excuses format. I know there have been those little inklings. People are like, we kind of had a bad matchup, or we had to go through some of the harder teams, and it didn't really feel as natural. But here you go out, you have the first stage where you sign up for the first stage, you go against 64 teams to get the top 8 from that one. Then and that's a double elimination, so you already have 2 shots in there with that one. Then if you lose that, then you have another registration that you're going to go through for the second stage, which is another double elimination. So I mean, you basically have like 4 chances to make it up into the top of NACT to kind of get your shot in that league. And I'm really excited about it, because I think especially being here since the beginning and seeing how a lot of these teams have changed, have become these staples in North America, maybe not completely at the grand finals, but there's a lot of names that have just been out there for a while now. Bloodhounds come to mind, Area 77 come to mind, and we're starting to see more and more, especially when these teams stick together, have been practicing, and especially as Weezy kind of just touched on narrowly, there's a lot on the line, not just for NACT, but what happens if you win NACT. And we've been seeing a lot of I don't want to say deals with the devil, but team ups with people that you didn't think might team up, because it's no longer, people are starting to put away those he said this about me, or he said that about me. There's a lot of money on the line where it's like, okay, how good is this player? Do I want him on my team? So we're gonna start seeing. I've been hearing inklings, things about BTK, things about Team Gosu, Gaiman Gladiators coming up in here now. So there is just a lot of different people are making moves basically right now, and this NACT is gonna probably be a huge one for that. And I'm really excited, because I just love seeing I don't want to say I enjoy the qualifying more than I enjoy the season. When it comes to qualifiers, I just love seeing all of North America, putting names to a lot of the faces, seeing how they play, seeing how their teams are, if they can make it up. It's just this huge journey for a lot of teams, and I can't wait to see what we have coming up.
I definitely agree. I mean, I think there's two things I think majorly that point out to me here. For those that don't know, whenever, like, I think for a lot of us casters and for a lot of people that kind of like look at teams a certain way, whenever we talk about a team, like, that's not really like S tier for ranking. It's not like we tier them that way. It's always like, are they a top 8 team? Are they a top 16 team? Are they a top 32 team? Are they a top 64 team? Anytime someone asks me about a team, that's normally my first question is, how did they do in qualifiers last season? And in the top 16 is always kind of variable, right? Because it's always been this kind of like the way the bracket works. And sometimes it's true. You could be a good team, you get a bad bracket, or you have a bad day, whatever. But I think for the first time, we will kind of really be able to set in stone like top 16. Like we always know top 8, but now for the first time we'll really be able to say like these are the top 16. We kind of know what teams fall right below those top 8. Like whoever doesn't make it to the actual season, we'll know exactly who those teams are, and it'll kind of give everyone a bit more of an idea, and it'll also give, I think, fans and viewers of NA in general kind of an idea of like other teams that are on the rise. Like for example, Bloodhounds, before they made it to top 8 last year, they were a top 16 for a while. They always just came a little bit short. And a lot of people may have not known that. If you really follow the scene hard, you may have known them. But this time you'll finally have an idea to be able to see some of those teams and see like, okay, these guys earned their top 16 spot, And then also, kind of like what G said, I think it gives such a great door for like the possible upset, right? Because when you're in that bracket, the stress is on and everything, but now you have time to kind of play through all that, and then once it gets to that 16-round robin to see what 8 teams advance to a season, you really know anything could happen at that point. Like one of the teams that maybe is kind of on the brink there could get some upsets against one of the stronger teams. It's definitely going to make things so much more interesting. I feel like it's going to definitely, I think that part of the whole qualifier I am down for. And I love what you said, Private. No more excuses. There really isn't. like this. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. If you didn't, you got 2 tries this time. If you didn't make it, you didn't make it. And I think there's just a lot more validity to that. Like there's just a lot more in a sense of the tier system of where teams stand, and it also gives your own, if you're a team who competes, it gives you an idea of where you really stand on the pedestal, right? You can't really just blame your bracket anymore. You can't really just blame that, because the reality is most of the really good teams, the top 5, top 6, are going to make it through that first qualifier stage. And then the second qualifier stage is where some of those leftovers, 8 through 16, are going to kind of duke it out. And it kind of really lets you know, like, where you stand. And if you didn't make it in that second qualifiers, it lets you know, like, okay, maybe I didn't just have a bad bracket. Maybe I do actually need to, like, step up my game and practice more. So I think it's very interesting in the stage itself. It gives a little more ample opportunity. And it gives us casters as well, I think, a bit more time to get to know some of these, like, lower-seeded teams in general. For those that don't know, the top 16, this might be a question, is not going to be streamed on the official channel as of yet. There hasn't been any announcement of that. Most likely it will just be casters, streamers, content creators. Like in the past, qualifiers will be watched through guys like me, Private, G, Weezy, whoever, other content creators, people like Nami, Kook, all those people. Will just be streamed over on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. So it's always good to kind of follow along, follow some of these guys, follow me, whatever, because we'll be the ones most likely bringing those qualifier games to you guys. Only the actual season will be streamed. Now, I think that kind of covers qualifiers. We're going to jump into the actual format of season now. Now, we've had a lot of different formats in ACT. Some people have loved them. Some people have not loved them. They've been all over the place. But we've always, I think the major thing is a goal has always been to like keep things entertaining, right? Keep guys on their toes, keep teams on their toes, and try to give the best show to viewers around the world. And this season, I think we are getting a little bit of a best of both worlds. We are bringing back the season format, the like typical league MPL type season. The major difference, though, is it will not be a season split, as in it won't be 2 round robins. It'll be a singular round robin between the top 8 teams, all best of 3s, and this will decide on seeding for playoffs. Now, the big difference for NACT and several other MPLs that you might watch is it will not be 6 teams proceeding to playoffs. It'll be all 8 teams in season will proceed to playoffs, but depending on how they do in the season will decide where they are seated in the playoffs bracket. So First place seeding will go against 8th place seeding, second place seeding will go against 7th place seeding, and so on and so forth. Now, the cool thing about our playoffs this year, one of the things that I think a lot of us were sad about last year, just due to time restraints, due to work restrictions, things like that, we had a lot of best of threes in the last playoffs. This time we're going to have one of the longest playoffs is the longest playoffs NACT has ever seen. Almost all of the games will be best of 5, except for some of the lower bracket games will be best of 3. To whereas last season we had best of 3s and even the grand finals was best of 5. So it was kind of a big, I think a lot of people wish there was a bit more last playoffs, and I think this time we are delivering on that. I think playoffs is going to give a lot of opportunity for us to see what some of the 6, 7, and 8 place teams have to give in those final moments, because that's when I think teams really get the chance to pop off, when they know their back's against the wall. This time we're going to jump over to private. What are your thoughts on the current format?
With the formats, I do want to say I feel like it takes a little of the lax off, especially for some of those teams who maybe let me start by saying anybody who makes it to the top 8 in North America, there's something to be said about that. I know a lot of the comments sometimes, once the games start getting going, there's always some of those teams who just aren't performing. There's always going to be an 8th place and a 7th place, no matter what. No matter how you do the math, there's going to be an 8th and a 7th place. And I know sometimes they can get a little, it can be a little discouraging once you've seen how these teams perform, and you're like, they're already out. There's no way that they're going to make it to the playoffs. But this time, it doesn't matter. They can even if they are in 8th or 7th place, they're still going to be able to make it to the playoffs. They're still going to have that opportunity, albeit they're going to probably be facing the 2 best teams in North America, but that'll be able to say something. It means that they're going to have that chance instead of it kind of being tucked away from them as soon as or snuffed away as soon as they take some losses in the league, which I'm really excited about. I think there was a question about the round robin format. It's going to be a single round robin before we actually get to the playoffs. Then, as Trek said, it's going to be a best of 5 in the playoffs, which is already way more matches than we had in the playoffs for last season. Then we're going to go to the lower bracket, which can be a best of 3. And then as we move to the semifinals, that's going to be a best of 5, and then finally the grand finals, which I'm great. I've been pushing for too, is a best of 7 in the grand finals, because I feel like that's befitting of the 2 best teams in North America. Plenty of time, plenty of matches, plenty of games for you to be able to kind of work out. I mean, it's to kind of get your wits about you, and to have that very I want to say, to have that winner without question when it comes to these playoffs and this season. I'm all for it. I mean, we've changed it up every single times. We were joking about it before we came on stream here that it just seems like we always have a different format, but it keeps things fresh, and there's always great plus sides to see with every new format that we get.
Weezy?
Just tackling on more of what Private said. I'm a fan of the format. I like things when it's simple. I feel like the NACT fall was a little bit more complicated than I would have liked when it came to keeping track of who's actually the leader. There was like one point where we were like, oh wait, this team's actually in 4th place, not this one. But with this type of method, it's just a lot more simplified and easier to keep track of. Not only just for us casters, but for everybody watching as well, which is definitely the most important part. I like it. I think it's a smart idea from Moonton. Hopefully we can keep this type of system. And like they said, it's 16 teams in that regular season fighting it out. Actually, no, the regular season is 8 teams fighting it out. But the interesting thing about this is they're best of 3s. I think we kind of talked about it, but there's points that they get. So if you get a sweep 2-0, you get 3 points.
Forgot about that part.
Yeah, if you don't get a sweep, and you get 2-1, then you get 2 points. If you get 1-2, then you get 1 point. If you get 0-2, meaning you got swept. Hopefully that's not you guys, but if it does happen to you, you get 0 points.
It's the MPLPH format pretty much when it comes to the point system for anyone that knows.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And that is going to determine the 1st seeding and the 8th seeding and how they kind of fight each other down in the playoffs. And I like it. Like you said, it's more of an MPL style, and it's just proven to work, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so same here. I would say it just comes down to it that a lot of people on my stream were saying as well. It's overall just a group stage, like is equal to what we see normally overseas and vice versa. So I can't wait to see it. I want to see what teams actually make it to top eight. So I think that'd be the real kicker. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Short and sweet. I like it. Oop, wrong scene. Um, so yeah, quick note. I want to, because I did forget to say that Weezy was completely right. We are going to be running off a point system: 2-0-3, 2-1 equals 2 points, 1-2 equals 1 point, and 0-2 equals 0 points. Which is something that we've tried several different point systems. Our second league system, what was spring season, we ran off a point system that was kind of similar, more similar to Indo. But I think now just keeping things simple, keeping things how a lot of people know them when it comes to some of the technical side of things. But then when it comes to like the event itself, we're trying to, there's still a little bit of flair there, right? There's still a little bit of difference that differentiates NA from the rest of the world. And I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of us keep coming back to this and stay interested in it. So to talk about the thing that's on everyone's mind seriously, the prize pool. This time, we're going to be looking at a prize pool of 25,600 USD and 732,000 diamonds overall. Now, the diamonds are going to, this does kind of break down into also from qualifying stages. So everyone who enters does walk away with a little bit of something. And the $25,000 prize pool is not completely, it's not the, part of it is essentially, teams will win $100 for every match that they win in season. A total of 28 matches. Also, this will be the very first time we ever give a finals MVP bonus of $800. So one single player will get an $800 bonus depending on who is chosen for the finals, which I think is really cool. We've always kind of chosen a finals MVP, but we've never been able to actually give like an actual bonus for it. And so many leagues around the world do that. So it kind of just feels kind of hollow. It's like yeah, I'm finals MVP, but when there's an $800 paycheck attached to it, it adds that much more. I think it really does because, let's be real, money drives people, and I think money drives players to play a little bit better. I think it's why they instituted the whole $100 that you win off each game, because sometimes when you get to end of season, teams might want to troll, they might not care, they might want to throw a game on purpose, but you're not going to want to throw that game when there's a $100 paycheck attached to each game that you win. So I think it's very important for everybody to do that. One more thing to cover, and one big shout out to Assassin Dave for supplying these panels. This is my favorite one right here. The player requirements. We got the 14-year-old, the little kid. You got to be 14 years old. Players under 18 years old must have legal guardian's consent to compete in this event. Not only that, you have to be Legend Plus to get there, to even be able to register, though I will say most of the teams that are going to be getting actually qualified to enter the qualifiers will be Mythic Plus. You got to be a GOAT, boys. And after that, here's one of the other kickers. Imports are allowed this season. 2 maximum per team. They don't even have to be living in the USA, but if you have someone that you want to register onto the team, if you feel that good about going to MSC, you could have them as a sub, and then when you go to MSC, you could have them on your team. This also gives some opportunity to some players in Mexico that have been wanting to play on teams. They could import in. So for the first time, we're allowing import players. We've kind of really kept things pretty minimal of only North American, only American, Canadian players are allowed. This is going to be our first time really allowing people to have a roster with players from outside of the country. So it's pretty huge. This is going to kind of be one of the last topics we cover before we go into more of just Q&A and things like that. Do you guys think that the import thing is going to make like a huge difference? Do you think it's going to be something that actually matters, or do you think it's more of like down the line, maybe future seasons?
I understand, because this was a. Oh, go ahead, Weezy.
Okay, I'll jump in first. I'll make it short though. I think it will, just because that's more players that can register. So that's more teams, more full teams, I guess. There might be people that only have like a 5-man squad with 2, imports. So that'll definitely be interesting, but it'll be a little hard for them in the regular season. I think it's definitely going to be better for playing internationally, right? Stacking up your team for the success and the longevity of it, like not just for NACT, but like to win MSC, to win the M Series, and go all the way far and beyond.
Private.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you wanted to say something. So America is a very unique country when it comes to a lot of our border and passport policies, which has made it very difficult for a lot of our younger crews, teams, and stuff that are made up from teams from South America or members from South America, some from Canada. There's a large Filipino and Indo base that live in Canada that can travel from Canada internationally, but can't travel to the U.S. because of our very stringent rules. And then likewise, there's some in the U.S. that can travel throughout the U.S. but aren't going to be able to travel internationally, just like I said, because of the way U.S. Our border policies are. That it can be very hard and difficult for teams. So we've kind of loosened it up. I think one big example was 2 seasons ago. OP's team, Ureshi, who was from Canada, who was unfortunately not able to make it to the NACT finals. And so he was not on their roster. He was not able to participate with that. So this means that if we have somebody who is on the roster who can't make it to NACT, he can still be part of that team. If he's able to go to international events and things like that. It's just right. It's not, I don't think it's going to have this huge effect as far as like, oh, we're pulling in people from PH and stuff like that. Or like, you know what I mean? Like taking imports and stuff like that. It's just more for a lot of these teams because of the unique circumstances that NA kind of finds themselves in with the closeness that we share with Canada and Mexico. I think it'll be nothing but beneficial and kind of help out and kind of I want to take some pressure off of some of those teams when it comes to if they're going to be able to travel or not.
Very fair.
Yeah.
G?
Yeah, definitely. And personally, I've actually had a lot of players reach out to me because they're asking me all the specifics behind the NACT and that import rule and everything like that. And I want to say like the biggest thing is that a lot of people have to understand that, like Private said, you're not getting shipped to the U.S. Like you're not being imported here, right? Like if you decide to play as the main 5 on this team, and you're going to be dealing with a ping. Like I mean, if you decide to play, like you're going to be playing in the U.S. So I mean, if you're an absolute god at 300 ping, and you know, I mean that'd be your shot to drop the weights at MSC. Like just big dog it. But you're always going to have that problem, and that's just NA. In general, a lot of Mexico teams have reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, what's this new rule? Like, what is it?" Right? And I explain it to them and everything like that. And of course, some people don't understand that it's only 2 imports allowed. Not like we're not importing whole teams. Like it's nothing like that as well. So there's those are the things that I've ran into, the questions that I've gotten over the time, and I like it. I again, I mean, it's a diversity. It's diversity for the NACT, and I feel like any type of diversity is a good growth mechanism for tournaments.
Yeah, I think the major thing is Mexico, Canada. It'll kind of give a bit more, especially with Mexico, because for a while there they had the Latam scene, and now from what I know is Brazil's rebranding to MPL Latam to include more regions up there. So a lot of Mexican players will have the opportunity to still play in that. But if a team wants to pick someone up, maybe some leftover ex-TSU players or something like that, the possibility is there. And not only that, if a team's very confident, let's say BTK or whatever they end up calling themselves, or TOB Gaming Gladiators, whatever they end up calling themselves, if they feel very confident they can get to MSC, they could line something up to be their sub, and then when they get to MSC, they're part of the team. They get a flight ticket to MSC, to Saudi, and now they have this player on their roster there. They would never actually technically have to compete in NACT. They could just be on their sub list, but the player is part of the team. So it just gives a little bit of logistics and a little bit of possibilities for future things. But that is it. We covered all the NACT information that Moonton has required us, but we're not done yet, because this is really the part that I think we wanted to get to. We're going to be doing a little bit of a Q&A. All of us except for G, because, I don't know what's going on with him.
Oh, no,
Has
no, no, no,
chat
no, no.
open.
The hardest questions are going to G.
Yeah, the hardest questions are going to G because he can't actually read chat right now. But all of us have chat open. Feel free to ask us questions. We'll answer them for you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to spend. We got about 20 minutes. We're sitting at 39 minutes right now. We wanted this to go about an hour. So this is our time to kind of Q&A. Also, Private, Weezy, G, if you guys have anything huge you want to talk about, feel free to bring it up now. The floor is y'all's. Let's go.
All right. I guess we'll just take turns reading questions.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For me, there's one thing I really want to touch on that I want to make sure that people understand is that this double, there's going to be 2 opportunities for registration. So I believe registration closes in a couple days. The first registration closes in a couple days right now. So once that closes and those teams compete, there will be another registration. So you will have another opportunity to try and get into the top 64. Now, we were talking a little bit about how rank does matter. So that gives you an opportunity, especially if you don't get picked in that first top 64. That gives you an opportunity that while the first qualifiers is happening, grind with your team. Get them together, be like, boys, we need to make this happen. We need to start getting them stars so that you can be made into that top 64 and get yourself an opportunity for the second one. So I just want to make sure people understand that because in the past it's been like, we didn't make it, and it's like, all right, I guess we're viewers now. But like that's not the case. So as soon as when the first one stops, there's going to be one more opportunity for everybody.
All right. We do have some questions coming in. Our in-personal finals, top 4, top 8. From what we know now, it'll probably just be grand finals in person. It will be top 8 playoffs, but only grand finals will be in person. That is the information that's been given to us so far. Of course, anything could happen, but currently the information is only top 2 teams. And then a quick question to GtheAiko, what's your favorite snack?
Oh God, but that's so random. I would say, I guess if it's something,
bar.
yeah, I don't know. I got these protein cookies that are like this big, like as big as my head, and you get 16 grams of protein, man, and I would say that's probably my favorite snack, favorite drink, of course, anything energy wise. So
guys,
random though.
Gideon's in the chat too.
Hello, Gideon.
Say hi to Gideon. Yeah, Gideon's here.
Still lurking.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Still lurking. We wish you would have been up here with us, but shout out to Gideon.
All right, Weezy. What are your thoughts about orgs now sponsoring teams in NA, aka TOB, now Gaiman Gladiators, and another possible team, which is BTK?
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think it's due to the MSC prize pool. A lot of companies inside of North America are getting interested in investing into this game now because they see the potential of what they can earn, if these teams do win in these international levels. And that's going to spark interest for players to want to compete more. More teams are going to come up out of this. Like I said, we're sitting at 107 teams right now. But that's also going to mean there's a lot more competition because there's a lot to fight for, man. You're fighting for a big prize pool this time around. There's a lot of powerhouse teams out there, man. I've been looking, like I said, every day on who's registering, and you'd be surprised, man. There's just like such a mixture and a blend of pro players on different teams now. So nonetheless, I think it's definitely going to be the most challenging in NACT for sure, the most challenging, and that's because everybody is fighting their hearts out to get that ticket to MSC.
Any thoughts on the new on Gaiman Gladiators on our first orgs private?
I'm excited. Not that Mobile Legends. North America already has issues when it comes to mobile games, and Moonton has done such a great job. As most people know, I've come from other games that have kind of failed here in North America, and I was initially very skeptical because just because I've seen how bad it can go. But seeing how Moonton has handled the pro scene in North America, very slow, very not trying to artificially inflate it, letting it kind of build up on its own. I'm really excited to now start seeing the inklings of pro organizations coming in here. Not just any pro organization, but one who's known for organizations in Dota and things like that. It really gives a great sense of like relevancy to the teams here. And not to say that, and I want to state out there too, like this doesn't. I don't want to say like this gives TOB an advantage, especially this NACT, because so many teams are so hungry. And a lot of people are talking about Gosu. A lot of people are talking about Zane. Like, and I'm not talking about like last year's Zane where he had I want to say he kind of threw some people together, tried to make it work. No, like he's got some great people on his team. He's trying people out. They've taken this very seriously, and I've been hearing that's the same thing for a lot of different teams here in North America. I don't think it's any longer. It's going to be like everybody's just going to be like, all right, TOB has this. It's going to be a slugfest there up at the top.
I like it. I think for me with the org thing, I'm excited. I'm speechless about it. I think it's something that like we've all been talking about for the past 2 or 3 years. It's like if we could just get an org, if we could just get some orgs here, if we could just finally start getting sponsorship, and it's something we've been like hoping for. And NA so far over the past 2 years has not really disappointed. Like we've only seen growth. We went from never having an official event to having NACT to never having any offline events to having offline grand finals to not having steady teams to having steady teams. And then like the last thing on the checklist was kind of like orgs finally getting involved, and finally orgs have gotten involved. So I think as long as things keep continuing this way, the growth is showing for itself in NA, I think overall. So definitely exciting. Quick question. Hold on a second.
I got one if you want me to read it.
Sure.
Who's your top team except for the past top 8 teams? So you can't name anybody from top 8 from last season. So top team that's registered that's not top 8. I can answer that one. I would say it's okay. I'll let you go first then.
All right. So I actually have two teams that like. And there's tons of teams on the radar, but 2 just off the top of my head, I'm sponsoring for the Attack on Titan tournament that's coming up as a KOL, which is Wild Cards and Dark Immortals. So,
Dark Immortals?
Nice. Yeah, Dark Immortals. So both of them are on my radar. They're teams that I've seen growing, and I just feel like they have the potential. They just got to get there.
Yeah, and I like Dark Immortals too. I think is Bling still managing them?
Yep.
He's okay. So yeah, there's still a pretty solid team. The Vanguard is mine, and the reason why I say it's in the same realm as what you said with Dark Immortals. These are teams that have been they didn't just show up out of nowhere because of the big prize pool that's on the way. They've been practicing and grinding it out in every small local tournament in North America, every single one, from down to $100 to $1,000 to tournaments that are just only for diamonds, trying to get their name out there and competing. And you get to see them. They've competed in multiple different NACTs, but they kind of fall short at that top 32, don't really get to the top 16. But I think through their hard dedication and work, hopefully this time around it'll work in their favor. So since we can't say top 8, that's who I will give. But I'm going to give you a little cheat code too. There's another one that I'm looking forward to as well. I just got to hold on. Let me look at their name because it's Devious Activity. So
that's Yato in them, right?
Yep, that's Yato.
They're top 8s though. You can't really like that's cheating, bro. That's cheating. No, you're cheating, brother. That's just X Area 77 and BTK and whoever.
It's just I just think it's a very interesting blend of players. That's something I'm looking forward to seeing.
Quick question to Private. I got a question for you, Private. Someone asked. So for those that don't know, Private, a lot of people probably know, Private, you had the opportunity, you were originally selected to cast at M5 because of personal issues. You weren't able to make it. Someone asked, will you be able to go to MSC if you are chosen to cast? Will you actually be able to go this time?
I have made sure because of unfortunate part of with M5, I made some life changes with a different work, different job, and everything. So I've made sure that no matter what kind of opportunity comes up, that I will be available if selected. Because like,
Whoop,
bro, we've
whoop.
got some great casters here already in North America. So it's anybody's opportunity out there as well. But I did want to add too in about this team thing, if I could, bro. And this is gonna sound simpy, but North America has some very good female players. I
gosh.
think we just had a scrim where they whooped my ragtag team out. It was Panda and Ashley. I don't know if Nicolette is still in the scene anymore, but
She is.
I would love to see a
You haven't heard
team
about
with
Nicolette?
some of our.
Where Apple might end up be playing? You haven't heard about where Nicolette's gonna be playing?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
Share.
Chat, let him know. Big chance.
I'm excited because I would love to see more of the female players, just because none of the other regions that I know of have like female players in some of their top teams. So I would love to see something unique like that from coming out of here from North America, because we have some great female. Panda's a great jungler. Nicolette and Ashley, some great mages. Some even argue like actually some of the best mages in North America. Despite whichever sex you want to you address here for that. So it's just I would love to see something like that come out. Is somebody gonna tell me what these teams are?
Nope, not gonna tell you, bro. There's
I got some.
Nicolette might be Well, I don't know if that's really like if we should talk about that here. Like room. Big chance
Yeah.
Nicolette could be
Somebody
playing with Zane. Big chance Nicolette could be on
What?
the
No,
BTK team.
It's
Yeah.
just breaking news.
I'm just saying, there's a chance. You know me.
Slap-
I watch a
slap
lot of
the
YouTube
team.
clips. I stay on YouTube watching clips. It's what I do. I feel like I do it more than all you guys. So I stay invested in the drama of NA. It's one of my dirty secrets, and there's a possibility there. There's a big which I'm super excited about. I will just say this: no matter what, Nicolette's back in the scene, and I'm hype about that. I'm super hype about that Nicolette is going to be playing again, because in my eyes she's always been like a top 3 mage for me. I put her above some of the best mages that most people look at, so I think it's definitely going to be exciting to see her play, see a lot of faces come back. You know, some of the Simpsons players are kind of getting involved again. They're rotating around to some other teams. We're seeing a lot of the teams, a lot of players that we kind of saw it a little bit last season with like Yato and T and Demon and some of these guys getting put on top teams on some of the tryhard teams, and we're seeing it even more now. More of what used to be like number 8, number 7 players are now joining like the number 2, number 1, number 3, number 4 teams, and it's definitely, I think things are starting to maybe even out. I hope that this season is a bit more evened out overall.
Well, just looking at Start GG, it definitely is. There's a lot of teams to go through, man. Honestly, like, I really want to see how the qualifiers lay out. You know what I'm saying? Once all the teams are done being registered, I want to see the structure of who's going up against who, so we can kind of pick those matches on what we want to watch. But man, there's just so many good teams now. I don't think it's not going to be a one-sided story really for anybody.
I got like a little bit of breaking news background information that a lot of people might know that I can share, because it's about me. That something new for this NACT in the top 8 is that all the teams are going to have social medias, even if they don't know how to do it, if they don't know how to set up social medias. It's actually my job, aside from managing them, to actually create their social medias, create content revolving around these teams. So there's and that way they can create a name, you know, and they have someone that can help them create a name. So there's going to be tons of content around individual players, around key plays made in the NACT. There's going to be like hot takes for takes of pro players, stuff like that. So coming into the top 8 of the NACT, you're going to be seeing way more content, and it's just only going to grow from there.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think that's something that everybody kind of needs. That's another thing that everyone's always been hounding on. And some teams will like start at Instagram or something, but then it just like dies, or you never see a post on it again or anything. So I think having some people behind that is going to be huge for all of them. Any other questions in the chat?
Yeah, put them out there, guys. Put them out there. Give us a hard
we
one.
get
Give
a
us the
top-
Give us
hardest
the hot
question.
take, bro.
The hardest
Oh,
question y'all can
gosh.
ask, and we're gonna shoot it to G.
Ask Private
All right.
Dancer if
Oh.
he's wearing pants or not right now.
Oh my God.
Everybody stand up.
Everybody stand up.
Let's get a 360.
Oh God. That's crazy. Can we get a top 8 predictions? I mean, there's still teams
Ooh.
registering right now.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And there's still a
lot
lot of data
a lot
that
of
we have
things
to
have
go
gotten
through.
jumbled
Yeah.
up this season. Yeah, a lot of teams have gotten
Yeah.
jumbled up, so it's tough.
Yep.
I will say this: I do believe that it may. I am 70% confident that it won't be as like of a one-sided season as it's been the past 2 seasons, where like
Yep.
TOB just stomps everything, or
I'm right there with
or
you.
Gaiman Gladiators. I mean, I think it's still very possible that they come out in first, at least by end of season, but I don't know if it's going to be like they just go undefeated the whole season. We never know. You never know. It could end up being that way, but I think there is a chance that things could be a bit more even overall. And even if they do, the rest of the teams may be pretty neck and neck.
I plan and hope that there's a team like Meta that just came out of nowhere and just blasted BTK. Like I feel that NA is at that point, and with a double elimination and a double qualifiers, like that someone could do that. Because there's teams out there that definitely have been playing nonstop, and I think have the tenacity to definitely maybe upset NA. I mean,
That could be
little
your
hot
prediction that one of the
Yeah.
the mainstream top 8 get eliminated by a
Just
newcomer.
absolutely boom, just gone.
I mean, we've seen it happen in the past. What was it? The NACT Spring of last year. BTK, they got taken out by like who was it? They got
It was
by
Meta.
Avalon?
It was Meta. That's a
Oh.
it was Meta.
Meta.
Yeah,
Meta,
it's
Meta.
happened before. It's happened before, and that means it can happen again. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing though. A lot of these teams, like a lot of new teams that register are teams that haven't really played professionally before, and they're just now getting to the game. But there are those few select teams who have been competing in tournaments, such as Dark Immortals, such as the Vanguard, who are going to be those dark horses who may be able to push their way through. It's definitely possible. I mean, they, like I said, been grinding every single day, and honestly deserve it. And I'm really hoping that they can make it far with that.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like is a lot of these teams kind of push forward. Heck, Bloodhounds last time, before last season, they were always kind of like just narrowly in the top
Yeah.
16 or in
Couple
getting
more minutes.
eliminated. But last season they able to make it to the top 8, so maybe we're gonna start seeing something even better from them this season.
Get out of here,
but
bro.
it's gonna. I do look forward to some of the teams. When it comes to, there's always things different. Like just because a team did well last year or didn't do as well last year doesn't mean that this could be this can't be different. I know a lot of people, especially coming off of Worlds, they were talking about Ohio brothers. With what happened with Worlds, I know the performance from TOB wasn't as well as a lot of people would have wanted, but I guarantee you that a lot of the things that happened there, especially they say like like failures kind of stick with you, and I guarantee you that team is going to remember that, and they're going to be working to kind of close those gaps. The same thing on the side of how hard it was for Zane competing last season, where you had an entire team basically looking at him for that experience, for that support, and now he's got people on his team that have that experience, that have that that don't have to lean on him so hard, which can kind of settle things for him. Gosu potentially getting back into the mix, who have always been, I mean, they're the original North America winners here that are potentially coming back, especially with what General can bring to the team. As far as, I'm not sure if he's going to be on it, but even just when it comes to like leadership or something like that. And then we've been talking about the teams that Kush has been putting together, that all of these other big names have been putting together in North America. I really like, not even more so than just being another NACT, like we've talked about. What's happening with MSC has everybody's mind hyper focused. So I feel like what we've seen in the past years is going to be nothing compared to what we see this year, and what these teams are going to be trying to put together and trying to force forward when it comes to the competition here.
just to answer also, Grand Finals is going to be the only offline. There's no venue released yet, guys. No venue released yet. So sorry. No location released yet, and exactly how long and what the magnitude will be of it has not been released yet.
G's about to go spoil it. Look at him.
We
He's
don't even
smiling.
know that. We don't know where it's gonna be, guys. We don't know how many days it's gonna be. GtheAiko's not allowed to talk. You could leave now if you want, bro. Don't go to GStream asking him questions.
Do not ask G.
Yeah.
Definitely come to my stream.
Don't stream. Just don't ask him.
No official site yet. All that good stuff. There's a guy that's been spamming the same question. I do want to answer this one. Do you think NA will ever get an MPL? I think what a lot of people cease to understand is that this is our MPL. NACT is our MPL. There's who's to say we ever get rebranded as MPL, but this is our MPL, and it's the same with several regions that might not have the brand of MPL, but Moonton is investing into NACT. It's not just an unofficial event. This is an official Moonton event. It has a season. It has a league. Even if it ever became a completely offline event, it would probably still keep the branding of NACT, is my guess. I think their goal here is to really make it a NA event, not just the same of what's going on around the world. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. And honestly, at this point, I don't know if I'd ever want. I feel like we've grown so fond of NACT that like, would I really want to change the name? I think we could become very.
Yeah.
I think we could match what MPL is doing. As long as Moonton keeps supporting and keeps putting this on, and just keep the name of NACT.
I second that motion.
Yeah, NACT has kind of been our brand. I'd almost be kind of this exorcist going on at Aiko's.
Yeah, we're losing him.
Or we're in a rough area. We're not at home, baby.
But yeah, I agree. I love the NACT. It's been as far as like and I've talked about this before. That I'm super confident, and I've talked with a lot of the Moonton people in the back when it comes to like what their plans are, and it's always been this steady growth, and it's something that's put me at rest, because I know people who know me, they, like I said before, like I've been part of games that kind of rushed it, that had issues supporting the scene, but I'm super confident in what we've been doing here, and honestly I feel like eventually we definitely will get to a point where we're going to be at the size of what we see for different MPLs. Might not be called MPL, but I definitely feel like North America can hit that size at some point.
I like it. I think that we're at 10:05 now. We've gone past our hour. I know G's getting yelled at from his friends. He has to go do whatever. You know what GtheAikos do when the sun goes down. Just a quick reminder to everyone real fast, to anyone that just jumped in, we did go over a lot of your guys' questions already, things like the international players wanting to or can compete in NACT. Feel free to go back and rebrush on things. We're going to do a quick reminder on everything. Qualifier stage 1 and 2 will be 2/17 to 2/18, so February 17th to February 18th. Registration will then reopen on the 17th, and you'll be able to register for qualifier stage 2, which is February 24th and February 25th. Make sure you guys sign up. If you want to sign up for the first stage, ends on the 14th. You can jump. There's a link in the description. Feel free to check it out. There's also the entire rule book in the description. If you have any questions about the rules, about the scope of things, feel free to jump into down. There's also an official Discord for Mobile Legends. I'm sure if you have any questions, you can get a hold of somebody in there to ask. Make sure you guys check it out. You can also see what teams are registering now. Gian actually just posted a link for that in the chat. Big shout out to Gian, one of our trusted moderators. I see her all the time. We love you. You do the work that nobody wants to do. Yeah, after that, once qualifiers is over, we'll jump into qualifier stage 3, which is the 16 teams. That's going to be on March 2nd to March 3rd. And then once we have our top eight teams, regular season will start on March 16th until April 6th. And then we'll go into playoffs, which is April 13th until April January, February, March, April, May 6th. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. And that'll be grand finals, best of 7 grand finals. Top 2 teams proceed to offline finals. Again, you can skip through all this video to get any of this information that you guys need. Just a reminder, man, make sure you guys check out the links in the description if you want to register. We want more teams. We want more teams to try out. It gives chances. And who knows, if you join registration, maybe one of us will live stream your game. And, you'll get a chance to watch your game or hear GtheAiko go, what? Over it or something, So thank you guys for joining. Private, Weezy, G, any last words from you guys?
I'll go first. Dang. I tried to break the silence. No, it's been a pleasure. Like I said, it's been a minute since we've all got to get together like this, and it's definitely been needed, not only for us four, but also for the community that has all these amazing questions. Like Trex said, there's Moonton staff. There's a whole Discord server. If you didn't get your questions answered today, definitely stop over there. And like Trex kind of stated, all of us are content creators. All of us are live streamers. We will be live streaming the qualifiers. So definitely stop by, show some love, and man, support your favorite teams. And just appreciate being here.
Private?
For me personally, it has been an absolute honor for the past, we were just talking about it. It's been around 2 years now of NACT, and it has been an absolute honor to bring entertainment, our own special brand of it, to these matches, to the NACT, and I can't wait for us to bring more of these memories and entertainment and spice up these matches for you guys as well. The NACT's coming. I'm so excited for it, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and I mean, last words from me. I love all you guys in the community. Weezy, Private, Trex, man. It's amazing what we all can accomplish together. It's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great. You'll see us there.
Yeah, I feel like we've come a very long way, guys. The 4 of us, the community around us, the teams, the players, NACT in itself has come a very long way. And it's the start of 2024. We got a whole nother year coming of Mobile Legends and NA. I think we're all excited for it. Don't know when the next roundtable is going to be. Just make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that good stuff. This is where you will see the stuff first. The Mobile Legends North America channel, which has also grown tremendously. It's got like 100K subscribers now, which is crazy. I remember when it just had like 10K or whatever. So just growth all around NA. Thank you, everybody, for the support. Thank you guys for joining us. It has been a pleasure serving you guys. We'll see you guys next time, and we'll see you guys at NACT.
Everybody.